Hi and good afternoon, and good to have your company. I'm Dougal Saunders, joined today by Assistant Commissioner Jeff McKechnie, who's the Western Region Commander for New South Wales Police, and also the CEO of Dubbo Regional Council, Murray Wood. And we're joining you today from the vaccination hub, which has been set up here as of yesterday at Pioneer Park in West Dubbo. Now, it's a fantastic scene here. There are a couple of hundred people lined up, some that have been here already for a couple of hours waiting to get their vaccination, and others that are just joining the end of the queue. It's a really good setup here, one that we'll talk a bit more about in just a tick. But if you are looking to get a vaccination today, there is still room probably this afternoon. Be aware, it is a sunny day. You'll need sunscreen, you'll need water, maybe bring your own light chair if you're worried about being able to stand for a number of hours. There are toilets here, bring some food if you're worried about that as well. But all in all, this is a very smooth and well operated facility being run here by our health district and also the Australian Defence Force. So we do encourage you to be here, not just today, but right through the week until next Sunday. Look, numbers today, up until 8 o'clock last night, 36 new cases across our health district, which again is concerning. 23 new cases in Dubbo. There's 3 new cases at Wellington, 1 new case at Narromine. Bathurst has 4, that includes that 1 from yesterday, which is now included in those figures. Orange has 2 cases up until 8 o'clock, but 4 overnight. So Orange will go to a total of 6, and those extra 4 will be included in tomorrow's numbers, but Orange will be at 6. Burke has 2, and Coonamble 1 active case in the Coonamble Shire. So that brings the total number across the health district now to 253. Now, there have been some adjustments to that total figure, and you might be thinking that doesn't add up to what we had from yesterday. Cases are moving in and out of the district, but also coming in and out of infectious periods. So from today, that new number of total active cases in the health district is 253. Around 1/3 have been infectious in the community, around 1/3 definitely isolating in the community, and around 1/3 that are still in that discovery phase, and we'll be updating that on a daily basis. We do know that cases have been infectious in both Dubbo and Narromine, and also in Bathurst and Orange, and there is constantly updates happening around some of those venues of concern. I guess the message is we know that 1/3 have been infectious. There could be another 1/3 that will prove to be infectious. That's why those stay-at-home orders are really, really important. If you don't need to be going out, we're encouraging you absolutely not to, other than for the essentials. That's just keeping all of us safe. Now, testing, 3,000 tests across the entire region for the last 24 hours, which really is significantly lower than what we've been seeing up until this point. So the encouragement is there again today. If you have even the mildest of symptoms, or you have any concerns, if you have any links as a casual, particularly to any of the venues, we are encouraging you to come forward and get tested. That is helping keep us, the entire community, you and your family, everyone safe. So those numbers of tests we really do want to see increase. And obviously you can play a role in that by doing the right thing and turning up. All of our testing facilities, they're all on the website. They are all operating as per usual. So we're encouraging you to, as much as possible, come forward. I've had a question from Mudgee where, again, numbers have been really, really low in testing. We do want you to come forward. AREC is open again today, and right through next week, we want you there getting tested as much as possible. Now, obviously, this vaccination pop-up that's happening here right now is continuing through until 4:30 this afternoon, and then Monday through to Sunday next week. There has been a lot of interest around who can be here. I can clarify now as well, anyone is welcome with or without a Medicare card. So we've had a lot of questions about that up to this point, suggesting you do need your Medicare card. If you don't yet have a Medicare card for several reasons, if you have an independent health identifier number, bring that. If you don't have that at this point, we are not turning anyone away, is the news here today. So as much as possible, we want you here and getting vaccinated. So bring your Medicare card if you have one. If you don't, we are still making that happen. So that's a really important update for you. Be prepared, as I mentioned earlier on, sunscreen, hat, food, water, that sort of thing. There is a chance that there will be other walk-in clinics even as soon as tomorrow. Depending on weather, we will update you as soon as any of that happens. In the meantime, this is the venue for the pop-up clinic, and we'll update you if things change there. Now, as of course from tomorrow, we'll have more of the ADF teams out and about in the field. including right across the north and the west, starting at Burke. So we've got lists constantly going up on that. So Burke starting tomorrow, other locations like Narromine and Trangie during the rest of the week. Exact times and locations are being posted regularly by the Western New South Wales Health District and on my Facebook page as well, to make sure you're kept up to date. Just a note on that, if it is for a community like Burke or Narromine or Trangie, it is for that community. We really don't want people going from other communities and travelling there to try and jump the queue. Most of our smaller communities are having their own vax pop-up. We really want you to stay where your area is and not move around to other areas. So please help that local community with that. Wellington will have its own vaccination clinic thanks to that great collaboration between the Health District, WAX and Swift Street Medical. That will be starting tomorrow morning. So that's happening at the WAX car park. Bookings only, and they're not open today. They will be open again for bookings tomorrow. That number will be on this Facebook post, 6845 5423. It will be open taking bookings again tomorrow. I can tell you there's been a lot of interest. Again, that phone line will be extremely busy, so do try again tomorrow, and we're looking at whether that could become a walk-in clinic as well, depending on the numbers. So well done to all of those involved in the Wellington clinic. And importantly, there are more bookings becoming available through our main vaccination clinic at Monera Plaza. They're popping up all the time. As people come to vaccination clinics like this one, clinics are able to drop off their appointments. So keep an eye on that. Talk to your local pharmacy, talk to your GP. More GPs are providing more as well. So keep looking for other options of ways for you to be able to get your appointments and your vaccines through other means. Look, we are still aware that there are some people that have been having troubles getting results back, and that is one of the things that we're working extremely hard on. Pathology has absolutely been affected. It's one of those things that there's no magic button to fix, but we are working extremely hard to make sure that when you take the time to get a test, we're getting those results back as quickly as possible. Hopefully, by now, most are being caught up on, and we should be back to within that 48 to 72 hours, hopefully. So I do encourage you to keep lining up for testing. We'll post the numbers here, all of those relevant numbers, whether it's the 1300 066 055. Lavity Pathology has its own number, as does Histopath. All of those numbers available on this post for more details around that. The venues of concern keep growing every day. We posted some more this morning, all casual contact venues of concern, but there are some at Narromine and some more at Dubbo. Please keep an eye on those on the website and through my Facebook page. We do update that regularly and share with people that you know may not have any other access other than through you telling them. So make those phone calls to friends and family members and make sure they know some of those venues of concern as well. Things like shopping, obviously we're still encouraging you as much as possible to do it just one person out of the household. If you do need to take children, obviously that makes sense. If you have a carer, a support person you need with you, that makes perfect sense as well. We just don't want families taking this as an opportunity for a family outing to go and get groceries. As much as possible, try and limit it, because that limits the mobility of the virus, which is exactly what this is about. And of course, click and collect and home delivery, they've been under immense pressure. We've been working on lots of solutions for all of our supermarkets, and hopefully you'll be seeing more availability for that in coming days as well. With that, be patient, plan ahead as much as you can for your shopping as well, and hopefully we'll see an improvement in that type of scenario shortly. Look, the other thing, and I mentioned this yesterday, there is a lot of information we're posting literally every single day around the ways that we can help you. We need you to take a little bit of that responsibility as well. So if you have a chance, look through the New South Wales Health website for details. Keep in touch with both the Western New South Wales Health District's Facebook page and my Facebook page and Council's Facebook page to see what is happening before you ask a lot of questions. It's difficult to keep up with all the questions. Hopefully, most of the information that will be available, including on this post today, will answer most of your questions, and as much as we can, we're keeping up. It is just hard. There's only a limited number of people that can actually get to those questions. So just be aware of that. We're doing our very best. And of course, that message of support and love that we can keep providing to all of our community. There are people in our community that are very sick. There are people in our community being affected by this each and every day. And as a community, right across Dubbo and the Western region, we need to keep maintaining that support and that love. So I'd ask you to keep doing that. I'll now ask the Assistant Commissioner, Western Region Commander Jeff McKechnie, to talk us through some of the operations that are happening.
Thank you, Dougal. Good afternoon, everyone. Obviously here in Pioneer Park in West Dubbo at this fantastic vaccination facility that's up and running at the moment. Health and ADF have done a fantastic job pulling this together with council, at pretty short notice. One of the reasons you can be absent from your home at the moment is to get a vaccination. It's warm, but throw a hat on, throw on some sunscreen, bring some water, come down, stand in the line for a while and get your vaccination. Get out of the house this afternoon. It'd be just a good way to spend some time, I reckon, at the moment. Still around 30 people in Dubbo over the last 24 hours, not listening, not paying attention to the requirements of the health orders, and unfortunately issued with infringement notices for being absent from their homes without a genuine reason. That's down a little bit, which is great, but still 30 people moving around from house to house, doing the wrong thing, putting the rest of the community at risk, putting them at risk and their families. Right across Western region now we've got outbreaks of COVID, some of it in our quite small and isolated towns, and tracing shows us that it's all due to a small number of people disregarding the rules and moving around whilst infectious from COVID. And they've taken that COVID right across the area. We've got families infected, we've got young children infected in a lot of our isolated locations, which is proving a real challenge around providing assistance to those folks. Obviously we're doing the absolute best we can, as are all our partner agencies, and tomorrow the ADF is starting our vaccination program, as Dougal mentioned, kicking off in Burke. Tuesday we're in Wilcannia, and then for the next 8-10 weeks those teams are moving right around our region, vaccinating people in our small and large centres. But please, there'll be plenty of information out there about that. When you see that, please come forward and get vaccinated. It is the only way we are going to get out of this current situation we are in. More words, complaints if you like, about caravanners moving through. I say again, if you're in a caravan travelling through regional New South Wales at the moment, stay where you are or travel directly to your home. If you don't, you will receive a penalty notice if you're detected. Still people coming out of Sydney into central western New South Wales, bringing COVID with them. Again, not good enough, telling lies, being dishonest, and infecting our communities. And if people know about these things, if you're hiring people, if you are engaging people to do work from Sydney, you really need to have a think about it at the moment, have a plan in place, and make sure that those people are actually following the rules. Because I can tell you now, some are not, and they're bringing COVID into our towns. There's people out there who live in our towns who could have stopped that. Please, have a think about it. Think of what you're doing when you're accepting someone from that area into your workplace, into your home. It's not on. It's just not on at the moment, and you need to be so careful. I'll hand back to Dougal to wrap up. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Really appreciate that. I want to thank again Dubbo Regional Council, the CEO Murray Wood here today, the Mayor Stephen Lawrence for some great collaboration, bringing all of this together with the ADF and with our police force, and importantly with our local health district. The collaboration's been unprecedented on this type of scenario. Look, there is questions that are keeping on coming through about second vaccinations. Just to clarify, as the ADF and the health district head west for first vaccinations, they will be looping back for second vaccinations, so everyone is able to get both their vaccinations in this sort of 6 to 8 week period. That's really good news. That goes for Dubbo as well. We will be looking at the drive-through options, but also other walk-in clinic options and all of those other clinics we've mentioned before, so keep doing that. And just to reiterate, lines now open for those that don't actually have a Medicare card. You're being dealt with through your independent health number, and if you don't have that, you can still come and there will be some way of getting a vaccination. So just to clarify, all of that is available here at the pop-up clinic in Dubbo. Thanks again for watching. Keep looking out for all the answers on this post, and we'll see you again at midday tomorrow.